everybody. Lenny Reed, Dynomite Diesel Products, with Brian Bailey, the nuts and bolts behind this company and how the thing keeps upright anyways. All right, so Brian, you've had some questions lately on the Economy Series injectors.
Yeah. A lot of folks just kind of wondering what they're all about, what's the story behind them, where did they come from, and what are we doing? So figured it'd be great to shoot a little video of you explaining your thoughts on our Economy Series injectors.
Definitely. I know that back when we were kind of talking about naming these things, we were talking about Eco Green, Economy, and all sorts of things. They got named the Economy Series, which might be a misleading name, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
And ultimately what we're doing is we're taking a factory injector and we're optimizing it to its like 98 to 100% of its value. So if the factory map was set to pump 200 mm cubed, plus or minus a given amount, say like 6 cc's up, 6 cc's down, we make it pump, say 206 to 204. That way it's always going to give you optimum performance for what that injector was designed with the factory map, the factory fuel system, the factory emissions gear. You're always going to be pumping 98 to 100% into that system, not less than that. When you're making injectors, say 4, 5, 6,000 of them a day, you're going to have a fairly large window in order to achieve those goals on a daily basis, because it takes a lot of time to calibrate these things.
And that's referring to the OE when they build the injector.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. When an OE is going to make, no matter who the OE is, it's never garbage. It's just you've got thousands to make in a day, and you've got to keep the window fairly large so you can actually get enough units out the door. Yeah. Then it's up to the guys that design the computer programming to make the truck run as smooth as possible given those parts. Yeah. Well, they do a good job, but the Ecos or the Economies, they basically pump within 2% of all their top levels. So if you were to buy a set of Economies and you run the truck 5,000-10,000 miles, you take in a piece of debris and you don't have some injector protector in there, wink wink, at that point you could go to your local Chrysler dealership, Ford dealership, the O'Reillys, a Napa. You could buy an off-the-shelf part, you could put it in the truck, you could drive it home. You could then take that injector out, send it in, we would recalibrate it so it would pump 98 to 100% of its factory value, and you would have another set of matched Ecos again.
Yeah, so basically it's not only just talking about the VL or the full load or the simulated full throttle where we're changing and tweaking things. Additionally, there's a lot of time and calibration changes that are going into changing idle settings, tip in, emissions point, all that kind of stuff. What benefits are we seeing, and are you seeing in your experience with the Economy Series injectors we offer as far as those other parts of the equation?
Well, I feel like basically like when you recalibrate the armature lift, needle lift, and everything in the middle, you're getting things to where, like at idle, when you breathe on the key, it starts quicker than it's ever started. When you go to flip the air conditioning on, there's a little bit of a torque load on the motor, and you'll see like a bad set of injectors, the tach will actually kind of bounce just a little bit and then recover, because the ECU says, oh, well, hey, I just got hit with a 15 horsepower load on the belt, and then the tachometer will kind of fluctuate just a little bit and it kind of settles out. When the Economy Series, like you flip the air conditioning on or you kind of turn a steering wheel, there's almost zero response on the tachometer, because the horsepower that it's creating even at idle is what factory map was calling for. We tighten up those maps so tight. They just the start ability, cold start ability is really enhanced. When you're just driving very light throttled, say you pull out of a parking lot and you've got a stop sign just 20 or 30 feet ahead. A lot of these motors will rattle just a little bit right there. This clears up that rattle like 100% of it. Fuel economy, we've heard reports on fuel economy being better. I'm not surprised about that, because when you take a truck that makes what it's supposed to make, if it's rated at 325 horsepower, but you have one injector that's only going to contribute, say, 6% less than the ideal target set point.
Pull them all down.
So you've got to pull all those injectors down to make that motor run. So your truck's not really making 325. Your truck's going to make about 6% less than that. Well, if you take the 325 and try and increase it to 6% above that, well, now you've got a really good hot stock truck. It's still stock. It's still within the factory maps. You haven't done anything to turn it into a hot rod, and you shouldn't be killing transmissions. Most of the time that we've seen anywhere on the little 3-liter
Eco Diesel.
The Eco Diesel. I think we picked up about 15 horsepower with that thing. And on the Nomad truck with 40s, we picked up 25, almost 30 horsepower with that.
16, 6.7 Cummins?
16, 6.7 Cummins. On the Power Stroke that I had, which was a 13 or a 14 F250, we picked up almost 40 horsepower with that truck. So there is a horsepower advantage, and they definitely just run so much smoother.
Yeah. The other thing real quick to touch on before we wrap this up is price difference. It depends on whether we're talking a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder, but typically the price difference is only about $350 to $500 from a bone stock, reman from us versus a Economy Series fully balanced and matched set of injectors. So I'm not talking a huge price difference, and definitely a lot of benefits are coming along with that, and a lot of time and effort on our part to get those injectors balanced and calibrated for as smooth of operation as possible. So.
Yeah, that's why he's the nuts and bolts. That I blanked out on all that. It didn't sound very fun to me. I was into the horsepower and the gas mileage and the runnability, but
Yeah.
I tuned out there. What?
I already said it, it's on camera, so that's all I got. I think that's about it. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope. I think for the Eco Greens or the Economy Series injectors, I think that's all I got.
Cool. Well, call us if you guys have any questions. Feel free to email us, shoot us a message on all of our social media. Just reach out to us if you have any questions.
Thanks, guys.